Okay. Is it happening, monks? You think it's happening? Is it happening there, little tripod? Oh. What was a fly? You can get that fly? Is the hunter hunting? Oh, man. Get that fly. Get that fly, monkey. Get it. Where'd it go? Where'd it go? Where'd it go, monkey? Where'd it go? She's hunting a fly. You gotta give her what you can get with 3 legs now. Right? Oh, come on back up. Come on. Come back up. Monkey butt. You can sit there and... Alright. You can sit there and hunt. But do you want to be up here? No? Want to be up here? You go? No, right there? Okay. Alright. Alright. Hello. Hi, everybody. Weird day on the YouTube front. I went to set up Charity Tuesday. We were going to do a charity for No Child Hungry, which is a fantastic group that gets kids hot meals during the summer months when they aren't in school. Because for a lot of children in the United States, like a huge number, like 8 to 10% of children in the United States, the only full meal they get during the week is when they're at school, and they don't get meals outside of that. So No Child Hungry is a great charity, but YouTube won't let me do it. Apparently, each YouTube channel is only allowed 50 charity shows ever. You're never allowed to do more than that. So I don't know if we'll ever be able to do Charity Tuesday again. I sent a complaint to the YouTube help desk saying, hey, this is very weird and arbitrary, and we've raised a whole bunch of money for really great causes. We're over $120,000 in our 50 Charity Tuesday shows. And why? So help desk person kicked it up to some engineers because it didn't make any sense to her. And hopefully tomorrow I'll hear back from the engineers if they can give us an exception, fix the issue. Because I don't know if other channels ever run into this problem, because we may be the only channel ever to do 50 charity shows. So hopefully we'll be able to get a Charity Tuesday going. So it might not be today, it might not be tomorrow, but hopefully we'll get another Charity Tuesday going so we can use our power for good and keep helping folks out. So that's the news right off the top. And if you want to help get some visibility on it, by all means, click down below in the description. There's a link to the post I made to the YouTube subreddit. If you can like and comment in there and boost the algorithm so that other people can become aware of this arbitrary weirdness that YouTube has where each channel can only ever do 50 charity shows, that would be great. So thank you for doing that. In the news of the world, GameStop exercised their option to sell more bonds. They sold another $450 million in bonds. So they now have, I believe, $9.1 billion in cash and equivalents on their books, which is a lot. It's a lot of money. In 2020, when the economy was crashing and people weren't traveling and they were all sitting in their homes, wasting away, you could have purchased the whole of ExxonMobil for about $10 billion. So right now, GameStop has the ability to purchase the vast majority, like 90% of ExxonMobil back in 2020. So, hey, cat, what's up? So yeah, it's a lot of cash in hand. Other entities do not have that kind of cash. Banks don't have that kind of cash on hand. Investment banks don't have that kind of cash on hand. BlackRock doesn't have that kind of cash on hand. Basically, there's only a couple of companies on Earth who have that much cash, and most of it is offshored. It can't be used for awesome stuff. You're thinking of like Microsoft and Apple and Google have offshored all sorts of stuff in like Ireland and elsewhere. But that really can't be used for acquisitions until it's repatriated, right? Don't be a dick. Gosh dang it. Is there any drugs left? Did you use it all? I think. Oh no, there's some. All right. Eat your drugs, you stupid idiot. So we can move on with our lives. Okay, yeah, there you go. Don't blow it all over the place. Just lick it. Just hold your breath and lick. So yeah, they've got a ridiculous amount of cash, but it does have the effect of more dilution in the end. So it'll suppress the price at least for a little while until we get close to earnings and it starts to build back up again, and we're back to where we were before, and then they'll probably announce another bond offering, and then all over again. So, That and Donald Trump's ceasefire that he said he had negotiated, which Iran said didn't happen, was then violated by both Iran and Israel, and Trump's all bent out of shape out of it. Israel is caught on tape discussing with military leaders in Iran that if they don't flee the country, Israel will murder their families. So that's gnarly. Anything else to add to that, monkey? It's going to be a cluster no matter what. Senator Mike Lee's bill to try and privatize the whole of all the federal lands in the United States seems to be backfiring horribly on him. He does not realize that his constituency, Republicans, their hobbies are hunting and fishing and hiking and camping and being an outdoors person, and that none of them are billionaires, so they have to use federal lands in order to do these things. And if he sells off all of the federal lands in the United States, then it'll be all private and people won't be able to do these things anymore. And then you end up with like Robin Hood situations, right? Like remember the story of Robin Hood? Do you guys remember the story of Robin Hood? The central tenet was that there was the king's land, like the Lord of Nottingham. He owned all of the deer and the birds and the fish. And so if you were a starving peasant and you killed a deer, that was a capital crime. You stole from the king, from the Lord, and you could get murdered. And that's what happened, was a deer was killed. And basically people were like, enough's enough, bitch. And then became the whole Robin Hood story of stealing from the rich to give to the poor, because the rich had it all. So I don't know if Mike Lee's plan of pissing off 300 million gun owners and taking away like their identities, because they identify as hunters and fishermen and stuff like that, is probably the best plan. It seems like the Senate parliamentarians probably going to kill the bill and make it be a standalone bill, or kill the amendment, make it a standalone bill. So that's good. So what else do I have to add? Anything to add, monkey? I don't know, man. We'll just hit the intro and go from there, right? Boink, boink, boink. There we go. What's up with that? What's up with that, dude? All right, turn off the intro. Bam. Okay. Oh shoot! I forgot to put in the top chat. Put that live chat. Click that to multi-stream so I can see people over on the Twitch side. Oh, there we go. All right. Juice Miami says, "What? No one here? Impossible." I did get a little bit late starting the show because I was hoping that they would solve the no charity thing. I tried to get the charity set up like 3 hours ago. I've been sitting like twiddling my thumbs, hoping they would get fixed so that I could launch the charity show, and eventually it became apparent that nothing's gonna get done today. So I got a late start launching the show, so a lot less chats than usual. Nathan Scott, well, it's been eventful a few weeks. What's next on your bingo card? Well, I think there's two important dates coming up. One is July 9th, when supposedly all the tariffs get put back on everything. Here's how I feel like it's going to play out. Is Trump and his cohorts and his family and his buddies and his cronies, they all get a whole bunch of puts on the SPY. And whether it dumps on the 9th or dumps on the 10th, it dumps somewhere in there a whole bunch, right? And they make a bunch of money off of it. And then they sell all their puts and they buy a whole bunch of deep out of the money calls. You know, stuff that's 10, 20 bucks out of the money for pennies, because they'll be, you know, short expirations. And then Trump comes out and says, I'm going to do another 90-day pause, another 2-week pause, or I'm not going to put these. And then the market goes, oh boy, up 10, 20 bucks. And everyone makes cajillions off of that. That's my feeling of how that's going to go. Coupled with that is the fact that we've blown past the debt ceiling. We have a government that's outspending by hundreds of billions of dollars of the previous government. The deficit is climbing in ways that it has never climbed before because of basically a bunch of stupid policies from Doge and Trump himself. Kristi Noem, head of Homeland Security, has blown through her entire budget in 5 months. Poof! She has no more budget. They don't have any more money. Where's it going to come from? I have no idea. But eventually, those mercenaries and militia dudes and corrections officers that are running around pretending like they're ICE agents kidnapping people, their checks are going to bounce. Or their government credit card paying for their hotel rooms are going to be declined. And what are those dudes going to do next? They're going home, right? They're not going to keep doing it for free. They love being cruel to people, but they also have their own bills to pay and family mouths to feed. They're not going to keep doing that for free. So you have to make sure that you pay your secret police. Otherwise, secret police goes home and goes back to what they're doing before, being horrible monsters, fulfilling the fantasies of fascist Stephen Miller. So we've blown past the debt ceiling. We are now spending way too much money. And if we don't get a budget passed, we don't get a spending bill done, we don't raise the debt ceiling, we're going to default on our debt. And if you think interest rates are bad now, right? We default on our debt, interest rates will probably be 15, 20%. And no one will want our debt. Because why would you buy U.S. treasuries if we can't pay them? And everything is so messed up right now that it could happen. I know it gets pushed to the limit each time a president's in office with this whole debt limit thing. But this is a wholly incompetent Congress with a wholly incompetent president, with, the accountants all being fired, the budget office people being fired, the government accounting office being fired. Like, who's there to ensure this gets done? Not many people. Not many people left to help write this stuff and get this passed and get the news out there. So, I guess just kind of see where it goes. So those are the next two things on the bingo card, I think, that are a big deal. Is the tariffs coming back with a vengeance in just 2 weeks, and the fact we don't have any money in our government because the fiscal conservatives are spending hundreds of billions of dollars more than they did last year for a lot less in services. It's kind of blowing my mind how much this stuff is costing. I mean, have you watched actual TV? I don't have like broadcast television, but when I go to my mother's house and hang out, watch the news or something, and there'll be these full-on advertisements with Kristi Noem asking you to like rat on your neighbors, total Nazi style, during like the national news. How much is that crap costing? I'm Kristi Noem, and I want you to be a Nazi fuck. That's basically what she's saying. And I mean, it's advertising campaigns has to cost hundreds of millions of dollars, right? It's weird. It's very weird. Pass out in your little drugs in your little cubby there. All right. Andrew Dow, I'm so not first. You weren't. Now turn off your intro. Oop, did I? I did. And second intro. Anyone got shares with AGNC? It pays a 1.25% dividend every month and has done so since 2012. I do not. Nathan Scott. Yeah, Julius dropped a what in the first comment and bolted. Andrew Dow only found it by accident on OpenAI. So you're messing around and found AGNC. AGNC. So it's $9.31. So it pays like a 10-cent dividend every month. So that comes out to about $1.20 a year, which is what, 11-12% on the year. That's not too shabby. Not too shabby at all. Been as low as 925 and as high as 934. It's been as low as like 905 last year. It's been as high as 10, as low as 8. That's 5 years. As high as 20 and as low as 835. Seems pretty steady Steady she goes. AGNC Investment Corporation. So it looks like some sort of company that invests in companies, and then you reap the returns if you invest in them. Active portfolio management. Word noted. Excuse me. And it's got. Oh no, I did that one. Brendan Wells. Sub PPY. How likely is it that no allows me to lose to 15 cents? At this point, pretty likely. If they're going to be getting out to like 700 million shares, yeah, it's gonna get diluted again. They'll make a buttload of money off of that, which should get them through whatever they need. But that's a lot of shares. That's, they'd be flirting close to 1 billion shares, which would probably necessitate, if they don't get approval right away for their tech by the FDA, would probably necessitate another reverse split. Right, monkey? So. Oh well. Just get the thing approved, man. That's all I have to do. Just get it approved. Colin. A little more cash for GME. Trump dropping an F-bomb instead of other peace bombs this time. Yeah. Trump's like, don't know what the fuck they're doing. You don't know what the fuck you're doing, buddy. Like, I had a friend, his brain is broken recently. In that he's gone like full MAGA when he wasn't. He lived here in Seattle. He started a video game company. The video game he made is a very eco-conscious kind of hippie video game. And then he moved to Miami and started broing out. And now he's this weird tech bro, like Elon Stan, Bitcoin Republican guy that's very off-putting. Especially all of his Northwest friends are like, what's your deal, man? And he was like, Trump has been amazing. We got the Abraham Accords approved. And that, that was peaceful. And she got the Nobel Prize for that. And he seems convinced that, like, this is a nothing burger in Iran. Like, it's nothing. It's just, this little squabble. And I'm trying to point out to him that the Abraham Accord, if you want to call it that, it was basically the coalition of countries who hate Iran. Like, this was the we all want to bomb Iran coalition. And they all signed on to it with Israel. Like, hey, we want peace with Israel. But really what they want is they want to blow Iran out of the water. So the peace accord that he got signed was truly like a defense pact amongst Middle East countries. Bahrain, Saudi Arabia, Israel, Morocco. Like, these countries that we're not at war with Israel, but signed a peace deal with them. But really, it's like, hey, if Iran gets out of line, let's go blow them up. And the whole reason that thing had to get signed was because Trump tore up the nuclear deal with Iran. The nuclear deal with Iran was ensuring that Iran didn't have the capacity to make nuclear materials, to enrich uranium, and inspectors, tens of thousands of inspections. We're talking as many as 10 random inspections a day at nuclear facilities across Iran were going on from 2015 until Trump tore up that deal. So by tearing up that deal, he made it so that all of a sudden Iran could make nuclear materials again and no one would know about it, which all of a sudden made everyone go, oh, they're 2 weeks away from a bomb, which they've been saying for 30 years. I mean, don't you think somewhere, the 2 weeks have happened somewhere in those 30 years that Iran perhaps enriched enough uranium to make a bomb if they wanted to? Why would you rattle that saber for 30? I mean, this is no different than what we saw in 2003 with the build up to the Iraq War. Colin Powell with that vial being like, this is anthrax or whatever, I could kill all of you. And, talking about the aluminum tubes and, and then we spent trillions of dollars, murdered 500,000 to 1 million people, overthrew a government, discovered there were no weapons of mass destruction. They just didn't exist. So we were lied into that war. And here we are again. I mean, Iranians don't like their government. They hate their government. But what they also don't like is seeing what regime change has brought across the Middle East when the U.S. has gotten involved. They don't like the sectarian strife that happened in Iraq, Libya, Syria, right? These countries killed so many of their own citizens in the strife of trying to reclaim it, because there's always going to be some absolute like sociopath with tribal followings, religious followings, whatever, warlords who want their own power and harems and money, and they want to steal the resources. Like the United States, we had in Iran in the 1950s a democratically elected government from the people. They're like, oh boy, yay, we have democracy. And what we do, we overthrew it and put a brutal dictator in charge. The people didn't like that. They didn't like it. They don't like brutal dictators. And the thing that overthrew the brutal dictator was another brutal dictator. Like, we had the opportunity to have a democratic Iran, but we gave him a dictator, which resulted in another dictator, and then we spent a bunch of money supporting a dictator next door to drop bombs on them, which then backfired on us when that dictator started attacking our buddies in Kuwait, which caused us to have to go to war twice, right, and mess up the entire Middle Eastern process. The CIA blowback in all of this is absolutely phenomenal. So, like, yeah, no one knows what the fuck they're doing over there, let alone Donald Trump, who couldn't find it on a map. I would like to see a member of the press pool hold up an unlabeled map and ask him to point out Iran on that map. He won't be able to do it. He has to put out Saudi Arabia or Qatar or any of his other little allies in that region. He won't be able to do it. He won't know. I think that in the end, and I don't know if you saw Trump's Truth Social post about AOC's a moron, but she's not as dumb as Jasmine Crockett or Joe Biden or whatever. Like, I think if debates in the future, I totally get having debates, talking about the merits of things, but there should be some sort of knowledge component. And I say leading candidates for president going into the election should have to play each other in a game of Trivial Pursuit or like Jeopardy or something. And if it turns out they don't know shit about anything, don't vote for him. Donald Trump, I could skunk Donald Trump in a game of Trivial Pursuit. I'm pretty sure half this audience could skunk Donald Trump. I don't know if Donald Trump could ever get a wedge, to be honest. I don't know. I don't think he's capable of getting a nubbins. I do not think he could do the nubbins dance and fulfill the requirements to put a nubbins in his little pie wheel. I don't think he can do it. I don't think you can do it, buddy. Yeah, I think you would do it better. You have a better chance putting nubbins in one of those things. At least you know about catnip, right? Oh yeah. Oh yeah. Excuse me. Okay. Colin, hit like if you're hanging around, by all means. King Ding Dong, I tweeted at YouTube. ChatGPT said that YouTube creator app support. Okay. Had to clean Mr. Wade's car. Oriana Moscow, Houston. Feeling blue, any good news? There's that pharmaceutical company that basically can obliterate the HIV virus inside of people. The bad thing is that it's going to be $28,000 a dose, despite the fact it costs $25 to manufacture. So we could be saving hundreds of millions of lives across the globe, but instead we're going to make a fortune off a few rich folks who got HIV, which is a real bummer. Like, how many people can afford $25,000 per dose, right? You do it twice a year, so you're looking at $56,000, right, monkey? Twice a year just to do that. And I don't know how long you have to do it for, right? Insurance probably won't cover most of that after a while, but like, we'll do 2 and that's it. So you get, what, 1,000 people signed up? So you make like $50 million off those 1,000 people. Maybe say it's 10,000 people. You make $500 million off it. Okay. But what if you had 100 million people doing it? You're at $500 million and you had just as many you had way more customers, and you could win the Nobel Prize or something for that. So that's a mixed bag. There's also a study I saw where they used like light from like an endoscope to obliterate cancer growths on cells, which is pretty neat. And there's text out there. We just need to fund it here in the United States, right, Kitty? Oh, you're high. You're high. Oh my goodness. What's that? Oh, you're gonna attack me? You gonna bite me? Huh? Ow! 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 Rub your face in it. There we go. Oh! Oh! Yeah! 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 Arr, arr, arr. Oh, he's too fat. He's too fat to do anything about it. Okay. Fabrizio's plopping. Bitcoin, GME's up to 15 cents. Up 15 cents to the moon. Robert Manson, tell us again. Calculated time, projected sales for no labs. Don't assume 100% adoption. I think that will take a few years, maybe 7% in 5 years. I think we could do a little calculator time. Why not? Where's my calculator? Gotta turn off. Wait. Oh, that's right. My computer restarted, so calculator is not open. Calculator. Shaboom. Gotta turn off the Google Earth. Shabam. There it is. Okay. So there's 30 million diabetics in the United States. 30 million. So if we're going to assume 7% adoption, multiply sucker by 0.7. Boom. 21 million users. The idea is you sell them a unit, insurance pays for it, so $100 for the unit, whatever. Then you charge them $99 a month. So times 99, right? And that's 12 months in a year. So that is $24,948,000,000 a year just in subscription fees. Basically, the purchase price of the device pays for the construction of the device. There'll be some measure of customer service, help desk, warranty claims, things like that, which will probably cost millions of dollars. But my guess is that they'll probably be clearing $24 billion a year profit off of that. Or they take that $24 billion a year and they take a huge chunk of it and put into R&D for using the tech for other stuff. So the potential is huge. That's just in subscription fees. That's not for any other use of the tech. That's not for licensing for smartwatches or the alcohol detectors for the steering wheels, or using it to map the earth to figure out what minerals are within 80 meters of the surface. So, yeah, the potential is there. They just need to get there. And I really hope that they do it this year. Because we've been waiting. We've been talking about this for years now. The tech has been there. The testing has been done. So let's just do it already. Let's do it. Let's do it already. Most of my complaint with most companies, like, just fucking do it already. Just do it. Just push the button. Just do it. And we sit around and shorts attack, and bad funding comes in, and then those assholes, Anson funds, blah, blah, blah. It happens over and over and over and over, right? Right, buddy? Right? You're sick of it. You just want them to do it, right? Just do it already. Just do it. I'm going to come for the lap. I'm going to go for the floor. Okay. All right. Blah, blah, blah. Very no Charity Tuesday. No Charity Tuesday. I hope you heard the beginning of the show. I am not allowed to do a charity anymore because 50 charity events per YouTube channel is the arbitrary limit YouTube has put on these things. So hopefully there can be a groundswell from us and we can get this changed. Yeah. You can come back up here now? Is that what you're going to? Nope, you're just going to attack my leg. Okay. Nathan Scott, I need some good news about the housing market. If it shits the bed like an 08, does that mean cheaper houses down the line? Yes. And it is shitting the bed right now. And almost every state has had a 12-month decline in housing prices. I think there's a couple of states in the Northeast where it hasn't happened because a lot of folks are selling in Florida and moving back to like Boston and New York, Philadelphia. So yeah, there's housing prices are down everywhere. My dream home is down. Was at 14 million a year and a half ago. It's down to below 7 million now, and hasn't sold. So like, the luxury market is even depressing at this point. So yeah, people can't get mortgages, and those who do have homes can't afford to refinance, right? Because why would you refinance from like 1.5% or 2% to 7 or 8%? You wouldn't do that. So the only people who are moving are the ones who have to move, whether it's for jobs or whatever. So, folks, if they're buying houses, they're the ones that are buying houses appear to be people who have enough in their investment accounts. They can just take out a loan against their investments, like a margin. And dude, stop messing with that. Stop. I know you're high. I know you're high of your mind. I think you just stop. And they can take those loans out in their brokerage accounts for like 2%, even today, and never have to pay it back as long as the money's in their account, and they just pay that 2% interest each year, and they get that house free and clear under their name. So uh, those people are selling for those types of places. But, oh, I'm just like pop your little head, pop like a grape. What do you think? I think I just pop like a grape. Just like that. Yeah, groom yourself. That's right. You're dirty. You're a dirty cat. Hoshi Houston. Just got back from the Big Island. Thanks for all the advice. But now it seems I caught razor throat COVID. I've been in bed 4 days feeling like shit. Even my hair hurts. Could it be COVID? Possibly. Because that version that's coming out, that came out of Southeast Asia, that's what they describe. That like nerve endings hurt. Just kind of like shingles. That's what I think of, shingles. And razor throat, it's absolutely super painful in the throat. So yeah, very, very, very possible. If you're flying, wear mask up, dude. Put on a N95, KN95, mask up, blast the air on yourself like crazy, so you just clear out anything because it's going through a HEPA filter. And don't take your mask off to eat. So, I mean, my next flight is going to be to my brother's wedding in New Mexico in August, and I plan on just being masked for the 3 hours wherever the flight is to Mexico. I have no interest in getting sick ever again. Just be done with it. Rob Manson. I think Bitcoin move was a bad deal, especially how they did it. Ron should be able to negotiate $2 to $8 closer to the real value. I think you have stated numbers that are in that area to use out. The shorted bullshit 33 cent number is the hedges. What the hedges want is dumb. Now he's going to get through 350 million shares, so they'll use another 200 million for cash. So they'll have it hit 5 billion in sales, and at 20% earnings will be a little. Oh, will be a little $1 share and 30% over a little over $2 a share. Okay, talk about the ultra value. Yeah, I think what they should have done is they should have said, hey, if you're going to put $100 million in this company, you want a majority of the company, we'll put it at $10 a share. You'll get 10 million shares, and we'll have a 14 million float, or 14 million total shares outstanding. And that would have forced the price to be way up. And if they wanted to dilute after that, they could dilute at a very high price, right? At $8 or more a share, probably, somewhere around there. And that, I think that would have been a wiser way of doing it. But they may have been strong armed into it being this way. I don't know. So, Alexander Productions big dumper Cal Raleigh is on pace for 67 home runs. Can he do it? Also, too much East Coast bias for him to get AL MVP. The Mariners had a couple of MVPs. They had Alex Rodriguez and they had Griffey. They had some Rookie of the Years, right? They've had Alvin Davis. They've had Julio Rodriguez. They've had Ichiro Suzuki, right? They had that kid whose knees fell apart a couple years ago. I have his autograph on a hat somewhere around here. So they've gotten some recognition. They got some Cy Young winners and stuff like that. But East Coast bias is really funny to look at. And if any Europeans are still awake right now, cover your ears or something. Cal Raleigh is the single greatest defensive catcher in baseball today, by far. Like, as a defensive catcher, he manages his pitching staff better than any catcher in baseball. Last year, he set a record for the most number of framed pitches that were balls that were called strikes because he's that good. And that helps pitchers get players out. It helps them get into good counts, which helps them win games. He was a Platinum Glove winner. What he didn't have was plate discipline. And this year he's batting 50 points higher and just mashing home runs at twice the rate he's ever done. And that's, I think, largely because of two things. One, Edgar Martinez, as a hitting coach, teaching him patience to plate, how to pick pitches, and getting him to sort of think about hitting like he does calling a baseball game, right? If you're a catcher, you know exactly what the weaknesses are of every hitter on that opposing team, and you call your game. I used to throw numbers down, right? But now they got the little buttons they push, and then the piece in the ear for the pitcher. But you know what the weaknesses are. So all you have to do is study tape and figure out what the hell is that pitcher going to pitch me. And you start thinking like a catcher calling a game against yourself. Ivan Rodriguez was really good at that. Mike Piazza was really good at that. Johnny Bench was really good at that. There's a lot of catchers out there who just for some reason aren't. And I think Cal Raleigh has finally like moved up in a baseball IQ sense that he didn't have before. Where before he had phenomenal athleticism, big boy, could hit a ball really hard, but he wasn't thinking like a hitter while he was up there, or at least thinking like a catcher calling a game. And so yeah, he's doing things that no hitter's ever done. It's the most home runs before the All-Star break by a catcher, the most home runs before the All-Star break by a switch hitter. He's batting almost equal from both sides of the plate. He uses a regular bat on right-handed hitting, and when he's on the left side, he uses a torpedo bat. And he's just mashing right now. His on-base plus slugging is insane. People are like, "Whoa, Bonds did better." Like, well, Bonds. A couple things with Bonds. One, he was on steroids, lots and lots of steroids. Two, the pitchers 20 years ago were not as good as they are now. Pitchers today are 10% faster than they were 20 years ago, just as a whole. Like, there's a stat I saw that showed, the number of pitches over 100 miles an hour in like 1995 was like 30 in an entire season. And now you're looking at like 20 a game, every game played or more. And there's pitchers who throw over 100 consistently for the entire several innings that they're pitching. Pitching strength is so phenomenal now compared to what it was. The overall batting is much lower. Now, there are folks out there like, "Oh, Judge is going to win it." And he could very well win it. He has a potential for Triple Crown. He was batting close to 400 for a while there, and he's still pretty high. He's got a lot of home runs, got a lot of RBIs. He's a terrible fielder, though. An absolutely shit outfielder. People are like, "Well, he only had one error." It's because he can't get to anything. He can't cause any errors if he can't get to a ball. So his fumbling of a ball in the World Series last year probably cost the Yankees the World Series. So I think it's right now in the American League. It is a battle between Judge and Cal Raleigh. And if Cal Raleigh breaks the American League record for home runs, hits 67 home runs in a season, I think he's got it. Judge may have more RBIs, may have a higher batting average in the end, but Cal Raleigh will probably get the Platinum Glove again for being the best catcher, and will set records for switch hitters and catchers that may never be matched. So we'll see. We'll see if it holds out, because catching is really brutal on the body. We'll see if this pace can keep up. But right now, he is a home run every 2.1 games or something. And in order to match where Barry Bonds was when he set the record, he needs to be at 39 home runs by the All-Star break, and there's 19 games left till the All-Star break. Therefore, he's got a chance. He's got a chance to do it. So I say do it, monkey. Make something exciting, especially for the fact that Safeco Field is in Hitters Park, and Pac Bell, whatever they called it back in the day when Bonds was playing in San Francisco, was basically a matchbox, especially down the left field line where his power hitting was pulling in McCovey Cove. So there you go. There's your baseball bit for the day. Oh shoot! Oh, Where to Wander says super chat. Sorry, I did not see that. Did you see that the Pentagon intel said strike failed? Yep. that not only did they move all the material, they didn't even destroy the bunkers like they're supposed to. So we spent billions of dollars on that B-2 bomber run to accomplish nothing except escalate a war. They'll probably drag everybody in the region into it at some point. So, yay! Okay. Where was I? Okay, did that one. King Ding Dong, make a blue sky post everywhere so we can see it. There, go to my blue sky. There's a post about the YouTube thing. So by all means, get in there, do it. So I also posted to Twitter. I don't really post Twitter, but I posted Twitter there. Oriana's saying that's probably COVID too that Hoshi has there. So yeah, rest up, man. Don't push it. Just lay in bed until it's over. How bizarre. You could always create another YouTube channel to continue the charity shows. I can, except that the channel has to be monetized in order to do a charity show. So which means I have to get to 500 plus subscribers and 4,000 watch hours before I'd even be allowed to do a charity show. And the only reason this channel got monetized was completely on a fluke, man. The first video I posted got 35,000 views, and all of a sudden I was monetized. So like I don't think I can that magic will strike twice. So I'm hoping they fix this so that we can continue Charity Tuesday on this channel. It's me, BK. I'm buying puts for next earnings for sure. With my luck, they won't do an offering. Yeah, that's exactly what happened. King Ding Dong, hope RC doesn't just put all the Bitcoin in his pocket and bankrupt the company. I don't think he's gonna do that. It does need to do something soon, sooner than later. He needs to do something. I think he knows that if he pisses off all of these people who are rabidly for him, right? And if you scorn them, basically everyone will treat it like a borderline personality sort of thing where like you suddenly become enemy number one and there'll be no place safe for him in the world if you were to do that. So, he's a billionaire. Like, I understand billionaires want to be even bigger billionaires, that whole thing. But you don't get to billionaire status and then fuck everyone over in such a way that you put a target on your back, because there are a lot of crazy people out there. That being said, he needs to do something soon. He needs to be big and bold and soon. People are losing their patience. They are. When they said, "Oh, I'm buying whole, I'm hold to the end," they didn't think the end would be 4+ years away. They thought the end was like a year or two. So he needs to do something, that's for sure. Robert Manson, MSN earnings are $13 a share. That's pretty good. Let's see here. Where am I? Why is there no timestamps on that? That really annoys me. Okay. From the Twitch side. That's a weird geoguesser. Yeah, Twitch will only let me put a category as to if I'm playing a game or not. So, hey, look at us playing geoguesser. Look at that. Shall I do it real quick? Oh, where in the world are we? I have no idea. We could be anywhere. Whoa, where are we? There we go. Let's guess. I'm going to guess Chicago. Oh, look at that. We're in Chicago. We're done. There. Yay. Okay, where was I? Christy's going to need to return her hats and hair extensions. And don't forget, she wants a new G550 for flying around the country. It's going to cost $55 million. Because the current G550 that has Homeland Security Secretary she flies around isn't good enough. So she needs a new one, because the old one, it's passe. it has a plasma television and not an OLED television, and we can't have Christian flying around in a passe 10-year-old airplane. That's not good. Neil 21981 BBY update. When are the bonds going to be settled? You got me, man. I thought it would have been done by now. But they have not been. They've not been settled at all. So who knows? I figured it would have happened. Yeah. Just Miami, 15%. Pulte will have a stroke. Pulte is like wanting to murder Jerome Powell right now. So Jerome Powell's the dumbest man. He needs to quit. He needs to resign. He needs to cut rates. Blah blah blah. And Pulte does not seem to understand that the Fed could cut rates to 0 right now. All that will happen is the banks will borrow money from the Fed at 0% and then lend it to you at 8%. That's all that will happen. Like, they cut rates and mortgages still went up. Why? Because the economy is going to fall apart and no one wants American debt. We've destroyed the trust from the rest of the world, and no one wants our debt. That's what it comes down to. So you can complain all you want about rates being really high, but the whole reason rates are really high is because your president fucked up the economy there, Bill. So you aren't going to get your low mortgage rates. People aren't going to go out and buy their Pulte homes by the dozens because mortgage rates are not going to drop. And they're not going to drop until the collapsed economy is fully realized, right? Because we have this problem called tariffs. And the tariffs raise the price of everything, causing inflation. And the way you battle inflation is you restrict monetary supply. So you restrict monetary supply, hoping prices go down, right? And the way you restrict monetary supply is by raising interest rates. So interest rates are going to be up regardless. You could make for a stagflation environment and cut interest rates, flood the market with cash, cause the price of everything to go through the roof on top of the fact that tariffs are raising the price of everything, and then price everybody out of being consumers in general. So that's one way you could do it. And then no one will be able to buy homes at all, and home prices will still plummet. Mortgage rates will still end up being up, and you'll be right back to where you started. So the best thing that can happen for Pulte Homes, for Bill Pulte, for the housing market in general is going to be just the collapse of the entire thing, just like in 08, 09, and just starting over. Right, big fat boy? Right? Oh, good at belly. Oh, you're so fat. You're such a big chunkers. You're such a big boy, aren't you? Yeah. Oh, ho, ho. Oh, look at those nipples. Look at those nipples. Look at them. Look at those nipples. Oh, ho, ho. The nipple man. Okay. He's like, I'm too high for this right now. Ding ding dong, I got an interview tomorrow for a mail clerk part-time job. It's something, hopefully. I have a friend, he was a newspaper editor for years. Reporter, editor, freelance, wrote some like murder mystery novels and stuff. And then the newspapers cut back on everybody, and he tried bouncing around other papers, and there just weren't any jobs. So he started an editing business where he's editing other people's novels, and that started to dry up. Don't you put your face in my water. And got a job as a mail carrier, and it pays great. It's got benefits. Who knows how long we'll have a postal service, but it's working out for him. And just in time, actually now the editing jobs are taking off, so he's doing both right now. But yeah, become a postal clerk. Why not? I haven't seen Squampskin here forever. He's a post office guy. Squamps, if you're around, your delivery driver, or something like that. Ding ding dong. ICE will start a GoFundMe. That racist lady get paid? Oh, the one that said called the little 5-year-old N-word. I think her GoFundMe got axed as a result. Citizen 54, another bond sale, but this no run up this time. What gives? No momentum killed this time? It's still the same bond sale. It's an extra 450 million that was optioned from the original bond sale that was announced a couple weeks ago. So, um, got 9 minutes. 9 minutes. Can I read at birthdays and Form 8K? GME sold $2.7 billion, $9 billion for war chest. Do it, Ryan. Bet he's waiting for Warren Buffett to move, and then they'll follow thumb war. Possibly. I mean, if everything collapses really hard because tariffs come back on the menu on July 9th, or for some reason we miss paying on our debts and we default, you're probably looking at such a drop in the SPY that they halt and stop trading for the day. Like 20% drops or more if those two things happen to like hit around the same time. When are they expecting to default? I haven't actually. How soon could USA default on debt? All right, debt ceiling. This is from March. U.S. could default on debt as soon as July. Default risk as soon as July. Default risk as soon as July. When does Federal Reserve? That's from 2023. The Treasury will eventually run out of extraordinary measures and accounting maneuvers to stay below the limit. And debt ceiling is not raised. U.S. face default, meaning it will be unable to pay its debts. Let's see here. The most recent stuff is from March, saying it could be in July, but I'm not seeing anything new since then. Yeah, March. When Reuters wrote something 2 weeks ago. When it comes to a U.S. debt default, never say never. Okay, so let's see this guy here. All right, Google Earth, you turn off. Nope. I said turn off, not. There we go. Chrome. Boom. So this is 2 weeks ago from Reuters. United States of America is never going to default. That's never going to happen. U.S. Treasury Secretary Scott Bessent said June 1st. History suggests that when it comes to defaults, politicians should never say never. Bessent's comment was intended to reassure market participants following a sharp run up in long-term Treasury yields and a moody downgrade in U.S. federal government debt. But the very fact that Bessent thought it necessary to reassure prospective Treasury bond buyers on this point probably gave them pause. It is certainly not unheard of for Treasury Secretary to raise the topic of default. For example, in 2023, Janet Yellen said the U.S. Should never default on its debt. Consequence of such an event, she warned, would be an economic and financial catastrophe. It's true. It would collapse the world market because, remember, U.S. Treasury bonds are used as collateral on every play you could possibly make. It's the foundation to every investment fund on Earth. A default in the U.S. government would also shatter precedent, according to the former Treasury Secretary. As she put it, in 1789, the United States has paid all of our bills on time. Or so she claimed. But in reality, the country's record on meeting... Oh, shoot. That guy got monitor just crapped out on me. Come on. I can't read if I can't see the things. Come on. Reboot. I'm in the middle of reading here, man. Here are a few instances over the past 2.5 centuries, the U.S. government did not quite deliver on what it promised. In 1814, the financial burden of the war with Great Britain prevented the Treasury from scrounging up enough cash to service its debts. Dividend on the funded debt has not been punctually paid, said Alexander Dallas, the 6th U.S. Treasury Secretary, acknowledged a large amount of Treasury notes had already been dishonored. In 1862, the cost of fighting a war once again strained U.S. Treasury, paid its bills by printing pure paper money, called greenbacks, at a time when the dollar was still legally pegged to gold. During Civil War, the greenback depreciated sharply versus gold whenever the Union Army suffered a setback. Then there was the abrogation of gold clause. Up until Franklin Delano Roosevelt's presidency, Treasury bonds were sold with a contractual clause stating that the holders could demand payment in gold. However, a joint resolution of Congress revoked that clause June 5th, 1933, and the Supreme Court upheld the congressional action on dubious legal grounds. There have been a few other instances of the government refusal to redeem silver certificates for precious metal beginning in 1963 and a computer glitch in 1979 that caused promised payment to be delayed. Okay, there's a couple of delays in there, and a couple of we'll pay you in, magic beans. So are they gonna say in here when we could possibly face a default? Ooh. Nothing I'm seeing in here when it's talking about rates, blah blah blah. The other stuff that was popping up was, come on, man. It was all the stuff from March saying default would happen in June. But when in June? I don't know. It depends on what type of extraordinary measures and how long they're able to make that last. But the fact that they're overspending like crazy right now probably makes that harder and harder to achieve. Talking about the back Jen Yellen again. Face delays because of internal GOP divisions, which seems to be exactly what's happening. And so it's just a generic July. Is that where we are? As soon as July, new forecast bipartisan policy center warns. Oh, okay. Between mid-July and early October. Okay, so that's a bigger window there. So sometime this summer, basically, is when we could be facing default and everything. What do you think, Monkey? Yeah? Okay. David Brooks, antimony in Iran, is this why we want them? It's a mineral for high explosive bombs. There's lots, there's minerals everywhere. But no, we're bombing Iran because Israel dragged us into it. Plain and simple. Netanyahu managed to convince the feeble mind of Donald Trump to go into this, and now we're in it. And it turns out that Iran has tens of thousands more ballistic missiles than previously thought, and Israel's like, oh shit, because the ballistic missiles are overwhelming their Iron Dome, and they're running out of the munitions for their Iron Dome. So, oopsie daisy. If they want to keep following this stuff back and forth, it's going to have to be carpet bombing of the whole of Iran to basically hopefully get those missile sites taken care of, or else you're looking at another 28,000 ballistic missiles being launched towards Israel at some point. That's a lot. Stephanie L. Super Chats. I'm thinking of being brave and buying some puts to see if I can make a little cash from Trump's grift. Have a suggestion for some cheap ones? I probably won't buy any of those puts until July 8th. I'm just going to hold off because right now I think this market keeps pumping in a way to basically offload all of the liabilities onto retail investors because they know that some serious shit is coming. And they want you to be holding the bag when it happens. Hot potato, you got the potato when the music turned off. Musical chairs, whatever you want to use. So I'm not gonna do any puts. I have a bunch of money in the chamber, waiting, for July 8th possibly, and if I do, it'll be short term, probably within a couple of days expiration. I will load up. If I make my money off of it, I am dumping. I'll probably take a chunk of that and buy a whole bunch of deep out of the money calls, because my feeling is that Trump will come on to True Social, be like, just kidding, no more tariffs, and then the market go whee, like $20, and I'll make a fortune off of that. So that's the goal anyway. We'll see how it goes. See how it goes, right? Floor animals. Hazel A. Houston collects shirts probably got in Hawaii. This one's a good one. You guys haven't seen the full shirt. I got a hot wahine on the back. Ready? Ready for this? Ooh, look at this hot lady. Woo, yeah. Yeah, it's a wahine on my back. Right, kitty? All right. I gotta go. We'll be doing a show some point tomorrow. I'm doing lunch with my aunt, and then we'll see after that. Hopefully get we'll get the approval for doing charities again And our Charity Tuesday, it'll be next Tuesday. I don't know. We'll find out. I'll keep you guys uploaded. And by all means, again, click down in the description below. Click on the Reddit link in the YouTube subreddit. Comment, like, drum up some support. Get them to see this, please. Welcome to contact YouTube support as well. Get the ball rolling because it's silly. Should be able to like help people, right? Okay. All right. Right dog, right cat. Cool. Okay. Let's blow up the world one more time. And boop. Oops. Boop. Nose? Do you want to scratch on the nose? I'll scratch you.